So Bridge.
Yeah.
I've been binging. I'll admit it. All right. Binging a show. Don't panic.
Okay.
And I don't remember who I talked to about this show, but somebody a while ago, I think, had told me you have to watch this show on Netflix. It's a docuseries. And I never did. And then for some reason last night, I said, you know what? I'm going to start watching it. And I'm watching, oh Jesus, I'm going to get the name wrong. It's the Michael Jordan one, about the Chicago Bulls. Did you recommend that to me? The Final Dance, I think is what it's called.
I did not, but in Chicago, everyone always talks about that.
Did you watch it?
I have not.
Oh, it's called The Last Dance. It came out in 2020. It's a TV miniseries, but there's 10 episodes. And it basically, 10. In 1996, was the final year of basketball for Michael Jordan when he was on the Chicago Bulls, and they won their 6th NBA championship. And it goes through there's a lot of time jumps where we go back in time to go through Michael, but then we also go through the other players, and I'm learning so much, and I'm do I like basketball now? What's happening? But there is a point to this.
Because basketball's in movies and I like movies, they tricked me into liking basketball.
And I'm and I also like Dennis Rodman now. It's so weird what's going on. Anyway, but there's a point to this because the very last, I'm not done with it yet, but the last episode I just watched, they did the flashback of Michael's life when he retired, in quotation marks, for basketball and played baseball. And that made me think of Space Jam, which connected to this movie because people and cartoons. And I was like, wow, why isn't Michael Jordan in this movie?
Wait, so I got feedback from that docuseries, whatever, that Michael Jordan's I don't know if he would be as celebrated now because he was tough, right? He was really perfectionist. What would Brene Brown say about Michael Jordan's style now?
Not great stuff.
But the outcomes are superb. So what do you do?
But it's really good. I'm blazing through it, and it's just really interesting. And I like how they they're just talking to a lot of different people. And yeah, it's not all Michael's the best. It literally is kind of like a soap opera drama. Wow. Soap opera drama with grown men and basketball. And I'm this is great. It's like the Kardashians if they had talent.
Oh my God. I would watch that show. Yeah. LeBron James.
I know you would.
In a separate interview where he's today's practice sucked. And it's all because this person he washed his shorts and he had a superstition. He couldn't wash his shorts, but he had to wash his shorts because he got this stupid girlfriend who said he's stinky. It would totally be amazing.
He's I got swindled into Space Jam 2 and it's not as good. And Don Cheadle's in it, and I'm upset. It's not great. Yeah.
Wow.
So, recommend.
Wow. Sisters who've seen it. We are the sisters who've seen it. Sisters, shooby-dooby-doo-wop, sisters, shooby-dooby-doo-wop, sisters, 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 sisters. Sisters who've seen it.
Hello.
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 Hello, Leah K.
Whoa. Bridge. Doesn't work as well with that, but hello, listeners. Welcome back.
Welcome back. How's it going?
We are going to Toon Town, but first, let me introduce ourselves. So, we are the Sisters Who've Seen It, the podcast where two sisters who are not movie critics look back on some of our favorites throughout the years through a psychological, ethical, and familial lens. I'm Katie.
I'm Bridget.
And Eddie. It's hard to do.
Get that sour puss off your face, Eddie. Yo, one of my favorite things is just looking up the cast of who the cartoon characters are voiced by, because it's just always the most random looking person.
Oh, how they look?
Woody Woodpecker is this lady that looks like she knits.
What?
It's what? Sherry Davis? I don't even know. Kate, you're up,
oh,
baby.
Dear.
Tell them what it's about, which is a lot in the title.
The title is very revealing. I'm going to read the one sentence like Bridget does, y'all.
Hey!
This is IMDb. A toon-hating detective is a cartoon rabbit's only hope to prove his innocence when he is accused of murder. Which I guess is like the title. So,
is that how they spelled it?
Murder! I wish. This is rated PG. Fucking 80s.
So dark.
Okay, so I prefaced this before, listeners, but we got a Space Jam situation going on. But it's 80s, so it's a little different, but there's still Looney Tunes characters sometimes. So the story is our main character is Eddie, who is a private investigator, I think. Is that right?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. Yeah.
Detective.
He's not a cop. Works by himself, whatever.
Yeah.
And he lives in a world where there's real people and then there's like cartoons, and the cartoons are sentient and alive, and they're like kind of like people, but they're cartoons. So he doesn't like cartoons because he has a tragic backstory how his brother was viciously murdered by a cartoon.
And he broke his arm and almost died too.
This is PG, guys. What the fuck? Yeah, he got a piano dropped on his head. What even?
Jesus. Yikes.
So he's sad and he drinks a lot now, and that's sad to watch as an adult. Seeing all that, but he does kind of get himself together by the end. So anyway, he gets hired by a cartoon, I guess CEO named R.K. Maroon.
Yes.
Who he's like, okay, Roger Rabbit, who is the other main character, obviously that's who this person is. He is my main star, and he's like so out of whack because him and his wife are like having marital problems. So to get Roger to do better, you have to go stalk his wife and find out what's happening and like catch her in the act or whatever. Or what? Yeah.
There's a lot of hand gestures Katie's doing, and I think it would help with the back and forth to just visualize it.
It's just a lot of like little things where you're like, what are we doing now? Okay. So that's what he does, and he does catch his Roger's wife. Roger's wife is like a model lady because Roger's a literal rabbit. His wife is not. His wife is like a hot lady with not realistic proportions. We got Barbie going on with big boobs, and she's like a human, but she's a cartoon. And he catches her like playing patty cake. We're gonna have to talk about that because I have questions about what am I looking at. But she does that with the owner of Acme, which is like from Looney Tunes. So he makes like gags and stuff. Okay, fine. Roger finds out. Roger gets upset. He disappears. Great. Moving on. Not moving on, because then the Acme guy the next day is murdered. And everyone thinks it was Roger. But Eddie's like, I don't care because I hate everything. But then Roger goes to Eddie and is like, oh my God, help me. And he's like, no. But then he does. And, you know, it's just, we're figuring out what the fuck is going on. Who killed who? In the end, there's a lot of scary imagery that you should not have your children watch, because I remember watching this like under the age of 6, and it was so scary at the end.
Same. It actually came back to me. I was like, this is a terrifying movie.
At that part, I go, this is where it becomes a horror movie. It's the horror movie section. Terrible.
Like we've said, you put horror music in the background, it's a whole different movie.
Yeah, definitely. So essentially, Eddie, you know, they figure out who framed Roger Rabbit, and spoiler alert, it's the guy whose last name is Doom, and he dresses in all black and has a scary face and teeth, and he like is cool with killing toons. So weird.
It was right in front of you. It was right in front of everybody.
So weird.
And his reasoning too. I cannot wait to go into that. It was all for a freeway.
A lot of plot holes. Is that
a lot?
We had like some Scream motivation going on here.
Wow.
With the lameness. Yeah, that's it. Okay.
Okay, Kate, when I told you that this movie like did really super well, what I did get wrong is at the time, this movie was one of the most expensive movies to make.
Probably because of the cartoons, I bet. Or the effects, maybe, right?
The effects, and
yeah,
I think it holds up.
Yeah, it really does.
It's pretty cool.
The only times that it was a little distracting was if you looked closely at a cartoon holding a real gun. Like, you could see, like, there was weird overlay, but that was it. That was only if you were really looking at that.
And then then I also read that Doom, who is Christopher Lloyd, the reason he comes off so scary, and I don't know if you noticed this, he never blinks the whole movie.
This is like Scream. Like, literally, Billy from Scream is Judge Doom. What's happening? And Elizabeth Holmes, yes. Oh my God. Wow.
This movie starts off, in my opinion, we've done, 140 movies at this point?
Almost, yeah.
Okay, this is the coolest movie title to date. Saying it here, saying it loud. When we get to the Sissy Awards next year, I'm putting it in as a nomination.
Wait, is it because of the saxophone music in the background?
I just feel like whenever these movie titles come out, and I know I focus on the dumbest things, but like when these movie titles come out, it's so distracting. Like Jaws was a really good one because it like the blood dripped to the letters. But a lot of them are just like, ugh. Alien was kind of good, but they're just not doing it. And this just like hits you with a bang. It's like, Who Framed Roger Rabbit? It's gonna be silly. It's gonna be crazy. Go! I was like, yes, I loved it. But I think that's some nostalgia for me because I'm older than you. Like, I really watched cartoons as a kid. Like, laying on the floor, feet on the, like, TV.
Oh,
Sunday, Saturday morning, Looney Tunes. I tell you. So maybe that was bringing it back. But, oh my God, we get, like, a little, like, this gave me, what movie was it where they started with, was it Mrs. Doubtfire? That they started with, like, an animation. And I just was like, with that weird baby that talks like this. He's the crazy baby.
God.
Baby
He's
Herman.
Like the brother from Mrs. Doubtfire.
Oh my God, Harvey Firestein. But then you see Roger, and I'm like watching this whole thing, and because they had to draw all this, how incredible were those angles?
Yeah.
I'm like, this
that
is
was
a
cool.
phenomenal cartoon that no one would ever draw, ever.
It's very true. And I feel like when you watch older cartoons like Looney Tunes and all that stuff, like, they didn't really do shots like that.
No.
At
all. You were
all.
going upside down. You had different angles.
And you would like follow him, and then the room would turn because you're like following him as if it was like live action camera. I didn't even think of it that way, but you're right. That was pretty cool.
And then I was like, oh my God, in this one scene, he electrocutes himself. Pants fall on his head. Okay. Knives get at him. A plunger in the face. He
gets set on fire.
He's set on fire in the oven. He gets like, and then a safe falls on his head. And I'm just like, wow, this guy is like supposed to be the #1 Toon star. He's not looking good, you know?
I wrote, wow, this is like Itchy and Scratchy from The Simpsons, which that's the point. But a lot of violence. PG? You guys sure? Okay.
Well, and it's the type of violence, like, I feel like the cartoons back in the day, when a safe falls on someone, you're like, that's silly. Nobody's getting a safe. But when you see, like, knives just, like, flying at him, I'm like, a kid could throw a knife at their, like, sibling. Like, that's a realistic thing.
That's true. Kids don't have safes often to drop on heads, but they could get knives. This is true, Bridge. This is a really good point.
That's a PSA.
This is a good point. Well, this was a giant one-shot because in this world, it's not that the cartoons are being drawn, it's that the cartoons are being filmed like it's a normal movie, and they do this all in one take, and I was like, why can't we just like splice in him getting hit? Okay, fine, whatever. And they basically are like, gosh, Roger, you keep messing up the line, it's right at the end, it's so stupid, and whatever. And then you're like, okay, guess that's Roger, bye. And then we right away meet Bob Hoskins, who's Eddie.
Wow. Eddie, honestly, is an interesting cast.
He's drinking a lot.
And he does the, like, I'm angry all the time really well.
Yeah.
He's similar to someone we're related to, but... If you know, you know. But I feel like he had a nice arc. Like, you got to see his character evolve, and it was fun. And I was okay with him. But in the beginning, I was like, this is a lot of him. I'm ready to see Roger Rabbit more.
Yeah.
It's a lot
and
of
they do a good job of, like, kind of giving the picture of why he's sad. Because they do, like, obviously give exposition, but then you, like, see a lot of stuff that gives you, like, oh, this is why he really hates those tunes. And, like, this is why he's, like, drinking and all this stuff like that. And he doesn't have money because he like isn't working because all his work used to be for tunes, but now he's refusing to work for tunes. And him and Dolores used to be an item, but now it's like I'm watching the freaking Michael Jordan thing again where I'm like, the drama, there is a lot behind the scenes
Well, and he was like so dramatic because it came off as if like his brother somewhat recently died. Like
I think
I'm gonna say
did, though.
Okay, but Kate, let's just talk about how they share an office and his brother's chair has like
dust.
cobwebs. As if it's from Abraham Lincoln's time period.
That is like, fair.
Bro. Did you put those on there? That's so dramatic. And I also thought, why did him and like Dolores had to break up? Also, we need more babies named Dolores. Would you not fucking lose it if you're like, Dolores. This is my baby Dolores?
Oh my god. And I'd be like, she is named after Whoopi Goldberg from Sister Act #1. Number 2, the Dolores from this movie, and I'm sure there's others.
A League of Their Own Dolores, played by...
yeah!
What's her name?
My god.
Rosie O'Donnell.
Oh, Rosie O'Donnell. That wasn't Dolores, was it?
She was Dolores, and Madonna was someone else.
Oh, Madonna was May, because they called it All the Way May.
Yo, so I'm just advocating someone to name their baby Dolores. But...
And then tag us on Twitter if you do.
But the whole idea of personifying cartoons is very cool. Like, I don't know why we don't do more of this, and maybe it's because nobody cares about cartoons anymore, but I'm here for it.
Well, and the cool thing about this movie, and I think I read a fun fact where it was like, this was the only movie to date where you have Disney cartoons and Looney Tune cartoons together.
I loved it.
And we'll never see that again because Disney wants their money. And I also don't
is this like Marvel and DC? Like, would they ever come together?
I don't think they ever would.
What if they did?
It was like in a parody movie that we're making.
Kate, what if we brought back old nostalgic DC and Marvel cartoons with real people? Like, remember Batman and Robin cartoons and how sassy they were? Can you imagine?
Yes.
Wow. I'm going on tangents. Keep me on track.
All right. So Eddie gets hired by RK Maroon, and this is where he's like, okay, like Roger's fucking sad. Go spy on his wife. She sings at this club. And then Eddie's like, ugh, I don't want to go there. And he goes, don't worry, Eddie. It's for like humans. It's not a cartoon club. But then like there are cartoons there. So I'm not really sure what that's about.
We never learn why Roger Rabbit and Jessica Rabbit are on bad terms.
I don't know.
We don't know.
I think it was like speculation, and like he was like thinking she was cheating, but I'm putting that in quotations because I still don't know what the patty cake was. We're getting closer to the patty cake, at least.
I don't know, but what I didn't like was like the strip tease porn
that
vibes
was a lot
of her coming out and all the human non-tunes being like, ow, ow, baby. I'm like, ugh. What is she gonna
what
get
happens
naked?
if a human makes out or like has sex with a cartoon? Is that...
Wow.
That sounds illegal. I don't think...
How does that work?
I don't know. I don't like it. I'm sorry I said it. Take it back. Okay.
So you're like, oh, we get it. She's a hot tamale. And I swear to God, some celebrity, there's always someone being Jessica Rabbit. Someone is always for Halloween dressing up as Jessica Rabbit as like a Halloween costume. And you're like, that is not unless someone has crazy plastic surgery, you're never looking like that.
Unless your waist is 1 inch thick.
She had
and your
no
boobs
ribs.
are 3 feet away from your body. Yes.
She was like literally Edna from Hairspray's boobs.
Oh, God.
With a toothpick waist. I was like, she's gonna fall over.
Proportionally, it's not making sense. Oh my God, and her heels were like vertical. And I was like, ow,
girl, breaking.
Come on.
Could never.
Well, so you also meet Acme here, and he's like a weird hyper guy who's like real into Jessica, and I was like, tone it down, sir. But he doesn't. And he goes to visit her after her, like, I guess, performance. And then this is when Eddie takes pictures of them, and they're playing patty cake.
Okay, Kate, what does it mean?
I don't know. Was it supposed to be like sex? Because
here's what I didn't understand.
Seem to line up with later in the movie.
Some movie, what's the showrunner? But for movies, who connects the dots? The producer? I don't know.
What?
One of them I feel like they had like literally split personality because they're like, we're gonna make Jessica Rabbit the sexiest, horniest, over the top sex figure, and then when she's cheating on him, we're not gonna have her like kiss somebody. We're gonna go the opposite, and the literal hand patty cake baker's man. We're gonna have her do that, and that's gonna be to a tune equivalent to sex. I'm like, what's happening? Because it's all in the same movie, and it's very confusing.
I don't know. But then at the end, she says to Roger, let's go home. I'm going to bake you a carrot cake. And he's like, ooh. And I was like, I still don't get it.
I hate it.
Is there cake? Let me know.
I just hate it.
I don't know, but it's some type of cheating, whether it's emotional. We don't know if it's physical. It's something. And so.
But Roger is upset when he sees these pictures. He loses it.
Loses his shit. And then Eddie's like, don't worry, have some alcohol. It makes you numb because you're sad. I know what that is. And I was like, Eddie, just go to therapy, but okay. And Roger then is like, I'll get her back. And that's when he runs away. And you're like, okay, I guess that's done now, but it's not, because then the next day the guy dies.
Okay, I feel like the plot didn't need to start with like Jessica Rabbit doing things. The plot could have just started with like Marvin Acme dying.
Like he's dead, right?
Or what is it Marvin Acme?
Maybe.
Yeah, because it just was like, oh, is this the plot? Okay. Like,
that's what I felt though. And you know, because I've seen this movie before, but if before this watch you were like, Katie, tell me the progression of events, I didn't fucking remember how this went. I just remember like somebody died, they think it's Roger, and like Christopher Lloyd's scary, and that's it. But like there's a lot of layers.
That's the best synopsis ever.
It's like, well, I'm sorry I didn't do that before, because now I actually watched it and I have notes, so I kind of know what happens. But it's
we need Jodie Foster to help us decode what's happening.
Jesus Christ, because do we need her?
Here's all I remember. He's so broke that when he gets this gig for like $100, he like can't even get on like the public transportation that at that time's got to be like a penny. Okay,
he literally held up the $50 check, and I was like, wait, are you gonna give him $50 for that? What do you mean? But then the guy's like, get the fuck off. I was like,
and then Kate, when he steals a ride in the back with the kids, who I'm gonna say were like 9. And then when he leaves, he goes, thanks for the cigarettes to the 9-year-olds. Then he gets mail, doesn't look at it, throws it out.
Throws it away. The mailman goes, these are your bills, and he throws them out.
Then we get to the bar, and he brings out the check. I was like, this man is a hot mess.
Yeah.
I didn't understand him and Dolores' relationship, but I got the sense they were besties, and I didn't know they were like love interests until he showed those pictures later in the movie.
No,
when they were on a beach vacation.
Well, she kind of was like, I think it's just because he's sad, Bridget.
Yo, this is such a trope that like back then, they're like, oh, that's my girlfriend. She's like, oh, him? Yeah, he's sad. You know, we're together. Yeah. Hey, we barely talk. Oh, I give him some drinks. Oh, it's like, what? Why can't he like hug and kiss you hello? I don't
think they were dating during most of this movie. I think they were like separated because Eddie's too sad and then Doris is forlorn, and then they like later are like, all right, let's do it. Let's do it again. And I was like, yeah, Dolores. But see, now I'm fucking lost. I don't even know where we are. Wait, I have a note. We have to talk about this. This is so important. Okay. Yeah. We find out a Toon killed his brother. Terrible, whatever. We find out in a news article that is on like Eddie's desk when it's like showing like the Party City cobwebs. There's a fucking news article about Goofy. It says Goofy cleared of spy charges. What?
Does Kevin Lima and the Goofy movie team know about this?
They talked about Goofy a lot in this movie, actually. They had good things to say about Goofy. A lot of praises for him.
Yo, literally, Roger Rabbit was like, one day I'll be like Goofy. And then at the end, Jessica's like, Goofy would have been proud of you. I'm like, whoa, we're all obsessed with Goofy. Like, everyone's fanning over Goofy.
We all love the Goofy movie.
Damn.
This is like 10 years before the Goofy movie, but we all love it already. So,
and literally, Roger Rabbit's like, look at his form. Look at his finesse. Look at the way he makes those scenes together. He looks
Roger Rabbit
incredible.
So good. Oh my god.
But all right, so I'm like, I'm so lost. And then Roger Rabbit comes in and he's like literally in his bed under the sheets. And he's like, will you please take on my case? Loved it from then. From then on, I was like, this movie redeemed itself.
Okay, but we're going to rewind because this is hard to follow. But we meet Christopher Lloyd because Eddie, like the police, I don't know why the police are like, hey, Eddie, even though you don't work for us, come on down. This guy's dead. And then he's like, what? Okay. And then you go to like the crime scene place, which was in the Acme factory where he got a safe fell on his head, which the children don't have access to. So it's okay to show them now.
And this is old school where they took the chalk and like outlined the body. Do you remember
and
as a kid when you would do that? It was like all twisted. Yes. Wow. Wow.
Yes, and this is where Christopher Lloyd's like, hey, I'm here too. And you're like, wow, you're so scary. He had like fake teeth that looked like the fake teeth that the little girls wear in the beauty pageants. And it made it worse for me. I gotta say.
Sunshine needs a redo as you as the lawyer to fight them. It's too much. It's too much.
And then he's like, hey, great news. I have this, like, vat of acid, some bullshit. Yo. And when I find Roger, I'm just gonna kill him. And I was like, what is the justice system, sir? You're a judge? Show me your college degree.
Goofy didn't do spy games. Here's what I want. This is so interesting. I read about the dip. He names what it is. It's like turpentine, benzene, acetone. And the reason that those, like, 3 were picked is because those are all like pigment killers.
Oh, so it gets rid of the color.
It gets rid of like anything drawn in theory. Oh. So like when you take off nail polish, it's like acetone. Yeah. So that was like one of the ingredients. So I was like, wow. So somebody wrote a whole thing on it and I read it.
Oh.
So you don't have to. Keep going.
Okay. Well, so he's scary and you're like, wow, I want to get away from him. I'm afraid. And this is when Eddie goes back to his apartment. The baby is at his apartment, slapping the butt of a lady. Not a fan.
Baby Herman.
It's confused. The Harvey Firestein baby. And he's like, Roger didn't do it. There's a will. And then you're like, oh my God, another plot point. This is the plot point that Acme had a will, but nobody saw it, but we think it exists. And it's important because he was going to promise Toon Town to all the Toons if he ever died. What the fuck? This is from the baby.
By the way,
this exposition comes from Harvey Firestein baby.
I honestly didn't know anything about the will. Watching the whole movie until the end when all the Toons started celebrating. And I was like, oh, that's why they cared. Like, yeah. Okay, because Kate, if a will doesn't exist, like, people just don't naturally get things. Don't they have to, like, fight over it? So I'm like, none of this makes any sense.
I don't know. They could have just all at once, like, talked about this, but I think the problem was they kept doing, like, the important information in little pieces that you were like,
little.
Okay, I guess I'll remember that now and write it down for the quiz later. I don't know. But then Roger's in the room and he goes, please, Eddie.
It's a freight job. Every Toon knows when they're in trouble to come to you, Eddie. And he's like, I hate Toons.
He's like, you worked with my idol, Goofy. You cleared him of the spy charges.
One day I'll be like Goofy. Oh my God. What was so funny about all the Toons, they didn't come at like a level 7. They came at like a level 100 in every scene.
Yeah.
Like every like side character scene, you don't know what's happening. It's like a bunch of musical Toon instruments falls out of a case.
Oh,
and they just like lose their mind running all around.
Yep.
I feel like every human was just, they were like, these Toons are making my head hurt. And watching Eddie and Roger Rabbit together, I was like, this is what I'm here for. This is the movie I wanted. Yeah. And he handcuffs himself to Eddie, and Eddie's like, God damn it. What do I do now?
This is another, drama. We're handcuffed together.
He didn't have a key. What do we do?
The old handcuff. Well, the weasels come in, Bridge, and I didn't really understand why we recruited cartoon weasels if we hate Toons, but I Okay, fine. So, by the way, the one weasel had, I have to look
straight
this up.
jacket.
Well, that was its own problem. But the main weasel, he sounded like, fucking Stretch from Casper. It was like, yeah, where's Roger? Yeah. I was like, Casper, is that you? What's happening? So I'll have to fact check that at some
point.
When
I was alive, I used to be a toon weasel.
Yeah.
They're seriously though, like whoever did the kind of drawing for these is like perfect. It's so freaking funny. I can't.
Yeah. So they end up like, okay, we got away from the weasels. He brings them to Dolores because he's like, well, the lady's obviously going to help out because like she's the only person who knows what's happening. And she hides them. And I laughed really hard at this, like a genuine laugh at this part where he's like sawing the handcuff, which I was like, oh God, it's like Saw with fucking cartoons. I'm scared. And then Roger takes his hand out. He holds the box and he goes, is that like better? And he goes, you could take your hand out the whole time? Why didn't you do it earlier? And he goes, I had to do it when it was funny. He was like, it's funny right now. And I was like, that's so true, Roger. It was.
I loved it.
You're a comedic genius.
What wasn't shown, but was really part of the movie, is Roger, like, healing Eddie.
Yeah.
Through comedy, as Eddie didn't take him serious. And he's like, comedy is part of making people come back to life. Comedy is everything, Eddie. Come on, take that sour puss off your face.
That is so true because in this scene, he like is running around the bar like singing, and then Eddie's like, are you kidding? Those guys are gonna rat you out. And he's like, no, they won't. Like, everybody loves the funny guy. And I was like, this is so true. Like, this is why like the biggest superpower we all can have in life is like to be humorous. And like, if you're lame, like, not gonna make it.
And what's funny with all of these tunes is their jokes are not making fun of everybody else.
Yes.
Their jokes are them.
Yeah.
Just like entertaining and being silly. And it was pretty cute because they didn't rat him out, Kate. But
they didn't.
I, once again, plot hole, didn't understand when Christopher Lloyd goes, you know what a tune can't resist? Knock, knock. I was like,
the shave of the haircut.
What did he say? Shave and a haircut?
It's like da 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 da, and then the response is da da.
Okay,
it's like a cartoon.
I was like, what shaving? What haircut?
Which is like, I missed the haircut part of the movie.
I don't understand. He's a rabbit. Where are we cutting? I didn't know what was happening, but he couldn't take it, and then he exposes himself. And then you're right. There was no trial. There was no jury.
He just brings
about to be dead.
Fucking vat acid into this public bar, sir.
Let me tell you, did he carry that up the stairs? I cannot.
Looked heavy. I don't know. I hope the cartoon weasels didn't do it.
It must have smelled.
And also, he was going to offer a $5,000 reward. How much money was that? And what? That seemed like a lot of money.
But they didn't rat him out because comedy is priceless.
It's true. So Roger is saved by the power of alcohol. This movie does give a little mixed messages about alcohol. Does it save us? Does it make us sad? I'm not sure at this point because I've seen both. So I don't know, but they get away and they go hide in a movie theater. And this is where Roger is again like, you gotta laugh, Eddie. You just gotta laugh.
And he's like, he literally was like a gremlin in that theater. He's like, throwing popcorn everywhere. You know, now that we're talking about it, I feel like whoever like wrote this movie, they like wrote it and went backwards and were like, oh my God, this would be funny. Let's set up this joke. And then they would go forward and go backwards and be like, oh, this would be funny. Let's set up this joke. Because giving Roger alcohol and then learning he loses his mind to use it in that one moment feels very like one-off.
There was a lot of like callback moments in this movie. A lot. Like the disappearing ink and the like punching bag like thingy that he uses later.
Sledgehammer thing.
It's just a lot.
I don't even know. But then it gets pretty intense, Kate, because people just keep dying.
Who's dead now? Oh, Maroon? Who's dead?
Which, by the way, this gave me some Clue vibes because it was just that like
the gun
silver gun sticking out of the Lloyd.
Well, Christopher Lloyd was in Clue, so...
Can I tell you that they wanted Tim Curry for this to be Judge Doom, but they thought he was too scary. And I'm like, wrong, because Christopher Lloyd was terrifying.
Incorrect.
Just gotta throw that there.
Wow.
But then, it's like, okay, he's like, fine, Roger, I think this is messed up. They want to kill you. I've taken the case. Something else is going on.
Well, okay, so Maroon
did
dies.
I skip ahead too much?
We're plot. We gotta talk about this
Guys, is anyone taking notes?
There's a quiz later. Okay, so we find out that Jessica Rabbit was bribed by Maroon to go with Acme to something
to patty cake.
Do something. And that part I don't get, but fine. Then we find out from Maroon that there's like an auction for Toon Town and it's happening that night. And if Maroon doesn't find the will for Acme, then Toon Town's gonna go to this place, Cloverfield, which is a new business taking over everything. And it's so weird because it kind of like showed up the same time as that scary guy, Judge Doom, who didn't appear at all. So till then, and weird. So Maroon is like, give me the will. And then Eddie's like, you killed him. And he's like, no, I just want the will. I didn't kill him. And you're like, I don't know what's happening. And then he dies. And you're like, well, now we're all so confused.
Time out. If you're not drinking alcohol right now listening, I don't know what you're doing because my head hurts.
You should drink alcohol this time because this is where we go to Toon Town. This is where I thought of Space Jam. I was like, is Michael here? Michael? Are you playing basketball somewhere?
That would
Michael?
be so freaking awesome.
That would be really amazing. They go back in time and just insert him in.
Wow,
Eddie uses a cartoon gun, and this was another really funny part where the bullets are little cartoon characters, and the one bullet goes, Eddie, where you been? And Eddie goes, drunk. LOL.
He's self-aware. You gotta give it to him.
But he throws away his alcohol. This is where he's like, I'm gonna now not be drunk, because that's easy to do.
I don't think that works with time and how much you drank. Only been...
We don't forget about those cobwebs we saw. So.
You cannot sleep it off. There is no water. Here we are. But I feel like Eddie, the detective, is still thinking, I don't trust this Jessica Rabbit. He's like, I don't know. Because he sees her fleeing from the scene of the crime.
Yes.
And he's like, somebody tried to shoot me. Somebody killed Maroon. There's this whole stupid will. And he's like, okay, that's it. We need to figure it out. And then I'm confused at who did Roger get stolen by the weasels to Toon Town? And that's why Eddie goes.
No, I think he follows Jessica because she stole a car and then Roger stole his car and then... Oh, wait, no, that's not true. I don't know, Bridge.
I think it's watch Jessica.
Listen, all I'm saying is if there's ever quiz trivia questions in this movie, we're getting them wrong. Okay? That's
I'm
all
going to tell you, I don't have a gun or bullets that talk. But if I did, I'd want my bullets to talk. And when they shoot out from the gun, I'd want them to go, yeah! And just try to find the thing I'm shooting at.
They were from Yosemite Sam.
Very, very adorable.
I love that.
So we get to Toon Town. It's very colorful. You enter Cartoon World. It's so fun. And I thought to myself, why did we wait till the last 18 minutes of the movie to see it? I wanted to see it earlier.
Yeah.
I was here for it.
It was fun. And we see a lot of cast of characters. We see Droopy the dog, who I think was a Looney Tunes. Tweety, who was Looney Tunes. We see Mickey Mouse skydiving with Bugs Bunny. And then there's a horny lady who I wrote is a Jessica Rabbit cosplayer who tries to kiss Eddie. I don't
know, but as a kid, I remember her so vividly.
In a good way, or you're
scared? In a scary way. I remember
she's scary.
She's like, Eddie, a man! And then she tries to kill him, or rape him.
Horny.
It's very bad. I hated it.
It's a lot of horny undertones. Some Hairspray vibes going on here.
For real.
But Eddie decides to walk down a scary dark alley. Why do those exist in Toontowns? I don't know.
I don't know. Who drew that?
Someone drew it. And this is where Judge Doom tries to shoot him, but the Jessica's like, watch out, Eddie. And then she, bam, tries to shoot him and runs away. And then literally Judge Doom is like, haha, it's me. And you're like, wait, so, but okay. So we figured out who it is. So we solved the mystery, I guess, what's happening.
Christopher Lloyd, did he win an award? Because the last 10 minutes of this movie is mind-blowing to me.
Nightmare fuel.
He goes from like, oh, the creepy villain to like, I'm gonna dream a horrible dream tonight about him.
Like, if he was in my closet, like, I would die of horror, I think.
Die.
Like, he's so scary. I hate it.
But, so, he made this giant machine that has all the dip.
This was like a Willy Wonka bullshit machine.
He's gonna wipe out all of Toons.
It's bunch of
That's
bullshit.
dramatic. And then we're like, but why? But tell me
Oh
why you want to get rid of all Toons that literally don't really bother you. And then he talks about how the location of Toon Town is perfect for a freeway to connect people to California. And they need to stop and use gas stations and have snacks and drinks. And he is going to make tons of money doing that. What in the goddamn realtor.com bullshit is this? Like, what is happening? I was like, but wait a second. Why can't he just be crazy and hate Toons? You know, like,
that's
what?
See, that's what I thought I was going to do, because I was like, oh, we know he's a Toon, but he's dressing like a human, so is he ashamed he's a Toon? So then the whole thing is like, I hate being a Toon, so I'm going to kill them all. And like, but that wasn't it. It was a freeway.
It was so dumb. And then literally Eddie says what we all say. He's like, a freeway? Like, really?
It's like, what?
And then you got confused because then the weasels show up, the machine is kicked on, and Roger and Jessica are hanging from a hook, and this toxic waste dip thing is shooting at them from a fire hose. What a dramatic scene. Eddie fights for his life, Kate.
Eddie doesn't just fight, Bridge. He does a song, a dance, gymnastics, moves. It was probably his stunt double. Yeah. Then he beats himself up like Itchy and Scratchy. He does some thing.
But Kate, he remembered what Roger Rabbit taught him, which was be funny, because the weasels could die of laughter, and they literally died from laughter.
He did murder. This is technically murder, I think.
He did a comedy murder. He killed it? No.
I think he did. Oh, shit. I wrote, wow, what a way to go. I mean, honestly,
I'd go laughing. If I had a choice, I'd go laughing.
I figure sleeping, yeah.
Wow.
Then Judge Doom zip lines to Eddie. I don't know why we needed to zip line stunts, but we did. I was like, is this going to be a show at, Six Flags? Is that what this is right now?
Do you know how awesome that show would be?
Oh my God, like a stunt show of like the final scene, and oh my God. I'd be so scared to see like a live in person Judge Doom though. There's no way I wouldn't.
The casting for that. Then a cement truck almost kills Eddie, but Eddie finds this like crazy secret Toon thing.
Like punching bag?
No, he finds that like invisible hole that breaks apart.
Oh yeah,
the magnet. Because I don't know, magic.
Yeah,
and then he gets out, but then somehow, the evil guy gets run over by the cement mixer.
He gets steamrolled.
Ooh.
And they're all just like casually looking at him like...
I hated it. It was very graphic.
If someone, even if it was like a bad guy, was like trying to kill me and as they were like dying via steamroller, I'm not looking at that.
I'm looking away.
I turned away. Okay.
We were zooming in.
It was, they all stared at it, sickos.
I hated it, but then he pops up and everyone's like, uh-oh. And this gave me some Terminator vibes. What's the evil guy?
Oh, the T-1000?
T-1000?
Oh,
I was
God.
like, he pops up and he's all weird and skinny. Which actually, now you're making me think of Casper when the dad comes back and doesn't know how to fly.
Oh my God, that is such a Casper fucking move. You're so right. I know exactly what you're talking about. Oh my God, the Casper connection.
He blows himself up and he pops. And then
his eyeballs
get red. His voice gets really high.
Ew.
And Kate, do you know the voice actor that does that final scene?
Is he from Casper?
The voice actor is Nancy Cartwright, who is the same one as from Bart Simpson.
Bart Simpson!
And that is what skyrocketed her to fame.
This movie?
I believe so.
Wow. Well, that's true. The Simpsons weren't until the 90s. Oh my God. Good job, Nancy. You scared me. So... thanks.
Terrifying.
I'm afraid.
I killed your brother!
I talk just like this! was like a toddler, like on too much sugar at that point, honestly. I was like, it is so scary. Please
Terrifying.
stop. Somebody stop him. He dies. How does he die? Just the dip? Something sprays? Something?
Well, the irony is the dip gets him.
Why didn't he get, like, affected by the dip the 8,000 times?
Because he had that special glove.
Oh.
But the gloves are off, Kate.
Okay. Jesus Christ. Roger would be proud of your jokes right now.
Right there. Funny, Kate.
Ooh.
Sourpuss.
Yeah, so then everybody, even the Toons from Toon Town, all fucking... Oh, wait, this I also laughed so fucking hard at. This goddamn Willy Wonka machinery that's, like, driving through the wall. It drives through the wall, and you're like, uh-oh, there's still dip in there. Like, how is Toon Town gonna survive? And then a fucking Toon train just runs it the fuck over. And I was like, why were we worried about Toon Town? They can take care of themselves.
I'm pretty sure Toon Town would crush everybody. They have like, so many safes to drop. They're good. Done.
Yeah, I mean, come on, guys. So then everyone's like, wow, he was a Toon all along. And like, oh my God, crazy. And he killed everyone. And then they find the will because it was disappearing ink, which we did get a call back from earlier. And then it was Roger's love note. And then it was, and everything was said in one sentence at different parts of the movie.
And at this scene, all the Toons go, hooray! We own Toon Town! And I go, oh, that's what the will was.
That was the will.
I don't know if we sold this movie to the listeners.
You know what? This movie is really good if you don't have to understand every detail. Like
I think we may have approached this wrong. I think we should have just talked about how it was silly and funny and not the intricacies.
It's really funny.
Because it is. I enjoyed it a lot.
Yeah.
Like, watch it or don't watch it, you would watch it, right?
I would definitely watch it.
I would definitely watch it. And I would tell other people to watch it.
Yeah.
But I don't think the plot is for following.
No. It's not.
No.
It's not. People are going to remember Roger Rabbit and that there's a murder and he's framed and that Christopher Lloyd is evil.
When I killed your brother!
And in the end, everyone's happy and everyone's together. And I wrote, Eddie discovered anger management, I think. And sobriety,
and
I think.
Comes back to be the toon detective he always supposed to be.
Please, Eddie. Oh my God.
Please, Eddie.
This is a good movie. Don't let your young children watch unless you want them to be traumatized.
This is an adult movie.
Yeah.
Hands down.
It's a PG adult movie.
It's
somebody explain that, but fine.
Plus 500,000 points.
Yeah.
Wow, we did it. Whew. Wow, I have a headache. Do you have a headache?
Oh man, I'm okay.
I'm seeing stars, Kate.
Oh, well, Bridge, don't panic because I have our next pick.
Wow.
And guess what?
Oh,
it's not about Toons.
Oh, that's cool.
But it is a listener pick. Wow, I just don't do a lot of those, so.
Wow, a listener pick.
We're doing it. And you know, Bridge, maybe, I don't know, maybe I was inspired by my Michael Jordan binge watching things, but we are doing what the fuck is this? I was gonna call this a sports movie, but I guess this is officially biographical drama history. Ew. It's a sports movie, okay?
History's important, Kate.
Okay. It was my least favorite subject. This is from 2004. This is PG, but this does not have demonic imagery.
Wow.
Yes.
2004 sports movie.
Yeah.
It's probably a lot.
It stars, I don't think we've done a movie with this guy yet. Kurt Russell.
Wow.
Movies with him? I like him. He's the main dude. So, the true story of... I just saw what name this is. The true story of Herb Brooks, the player turned coach who led the 1980 U.S. Olympic hockey team to victory over the seemingly invincible Soviet squad. This is Miracle.
Whoa!
We're going to hockey.
Boomerang from Who Framed Roger Rabbit to Miracle is only Toon connected. What?
Wait.
Wow.
Okay.
Mighty Ducks could never.
I'm literally the worst because I set it up that this is a listener pick and I did not tell us who this listener pick is. So this was picked by Martin. Martin so fucking sorry.
Martin!
Martin, it's Martin
Wow.
March for you. Martin March for Miracle.
Martin March, how cute!
Martin is from Canada, which I guess connects the hockey. So Martin, did you play hockey, Martin? He didn't really say much. He just said, "Can you please do the movie Miracle?" And I said, "Sure."
Martin, can you write us back if you play hockey, please?
Martin, were you on the 1980 U.S. Olympic hockey team who had a victory over the seemingly invincible Soviet squad? Man, it's always the Soviets who are evil.
Yo.
That was the same in Cool Runnings, right? Or the Russian, whatever.
I mean,
it's the same.
Been a while.
Okay.
Kate, I really gotta get ready for that movie because I wasn't really ready for that pick, but Martin, here you are showing up with sports, and let's do it.
I think I've only seen this movie once, but this is a good movie. I remember being emotional. Doesn't take a lot for me to get emotional.
I'll cry. I'm definitely gonna cry, but Kurt Russell, get out. He's the best.
He's the coach.
Wow. Way to go. Martin, Katie, for picking it and paying attention to who requests movies.
Okay. Well,
yes.
If we were a private investigator duo,
oh my God,
sisters,
yes.
And neither of us died, so don't worry, no one's dead.
Wow, thank God.
But we were hired by Goofy to clear him of spy charges. I would work day and night to ensure that we got Goofy out of those accusations and put the story straight that he's the best. And I do that kind of for you, but also for Goofy.
I cannot have a rebuttal, but to add, I would strap baby Kate onto my body.
Oh God.
I would tell James, I'm not going to see you for a couple months. I would quit my jobs and I would fight to the end of time so that Goofy is free.
Oh God. Oh my God.
We just love Goofy.
We do. He's great.
Wow. Kate, the only thing I was going to maybe say is if some man who owns a big giant corporation, let's say like Schmack Me, and they ask you to patty cake, I'll say, don't do it, Kate. I know you don't know what it is, and it seems like just a simple, just hand clapping game, but it's not. It means something more, and don't do it.
Might be sexual. We don't know.
It's like Coneheads. You don't know anything about the rings.
Wow.
Pulled that one from my butt.
If you also love Goofy, and if you I was going to say play patty cake, but I don't think I want to know that, listeners, if you're doing that.
We don't want to know.
Skip that part. If you think that Roger Rabbit is pretty funny, and like, why hasn't there been more Roger Rabbit stuff? I don't know. Why doesn't he have a ride at Six Flags? Somebody tell me. Who knows? And if you think that more babies should be named Dolores, because that name slaps, and that will automatically turn them into a strong, independent woman in their later lives, you should write us a review.
Hey!
We love reviews. We love written reviews. You can review us on Apple Podcasts, along with some other podcasting apps. We also have a website, sisterswhoseenit.com. On our website, you can request a movie. So our next movie is a listener pick, and it was picked by Martin.
Hey!
Martin went on the website, filled out the form, he did it correctly, and look at that. Now we're doing it. Martin, way to be. Yeah, so that could be you, listeners. And Bridge, what else can they do on our website?
They can buy us coffee, which is money, and merchandise. Wow. I think this is a perfect time of year to buy it because somebody might be like, what? It's not a holiday or my birthday or anything. You just gave me a gift out of the blue. I love you, friend. And you're welcome, because I have it ready for you.
Wow.
Just ignore him, honey. He's a Libra.
He's a Libra. Yes, so check all that out, listeners, and we hope to hear from you. All right. Well, we'll see y'all next week for Miracle. I don't remember. Anyway, That's all, folks.
That's all, folks. Bye-bye. I love you. Miracle!
Bye.
See you then. Bye-bye.
Oh, boy.
Love you.
Thanks for tuning in to Sisters Who've Seen It. You can listen to us on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, or wherever you listen to podcasts. Check out our website at sisterswhoseenit.com, where you can email us, request movies to be reviewed, and keep up to date with all things Sisters. Also, make sure to follow us on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. See you next week.